coming out tonight for a topic that affects us all. My name is Carol Gamble. I'm the mayor of the city of Rancho, Santa Margarita, and I'm delighted to introduce the mayor pro tem of the city, Mr. Brad McGurk. Please stand up, give a nice hand for Brad. And our city manager, Jennifer Cervantes, is here this evening. And we have a number of city staff members, members of the Orange County Sheriff's Department, Orange County Fire Authority, here as members of our CERT team, our Emergency Preparedness Group. Rancho Santa Margarita City Council's #1 priority is public safety. In fact, some of you may remember that's the reason why we incorporated Rancho Santa Margarita in the year 2000. A fire can happen in an instant, so we are committed to providing you this important information. This is actually our 3rd annual meeting, and it demonstrates, we hope, our commitment to providing an in-person forum for residents to interface with our first responders, talk with them directly. It's a great opportunity to ask questions and meet the safety professionals who live and work in our city. We are mindful of those who may have difficulty attending an in-person meeting, and for that reason, all presentations are available online for viewing at any time. So if there's a part of this that you'd like to re-see, you can go to the city's website at www.cityofrsn.org. We value our partnerships with OCFA and OCSD, our County Emergency Management, the Mission Viejo Animal Services, and our crossing guards. When you think about it, public safety is actually an investment that we all make in our community. It's not just a city function. Much of your tax dollars that come into Rancho Santa Margarita go toward our public safety. So this is our opportunity to thank you for doing your part. The first time I gave this presentation was 3 years ago, and I've changed a little bit of it. And this is the paragraph I changed. Sadly, fire season is now considered a year-round event, with summer into fall months being the heightened danger, hence this meeting. Tonight, we will include invaluable information targeted to protect your home and family. Experienced professionals will be sharing lessons learned from past fire events and the latest technology in home hardening. And so, full disclosure here, I have been on the board of OCFA for several years. I'm one of the longest serving members in the history of the board. So I do have a little inside baseball. As I mentioned earlier, a wildfire can happen at any time. If you don't already have it, make sure to download the Pulse Point app. And you can follow OCFA Division 3, CA. And I checked before I came here tonight, and it's right on, I have an iPhone, so it's right on my app store. We want you to instantly have peace of mind when you hear sirens and rumors that are flying around on Facebook or Nextdoor, and the Pulse Point app will give you this information. And tonight, I'm particularly delighted to introduce a professional that I work very closely with, OCFA Division Chief Shane Mall. Shane started his career in 2004 with the City of Garden Grove Fire Department as a firefighter, as a child firefighter, and I'm looking at Shane. And shortly after, he became a firefighter paramedic in 2005. He then went on to be promoted to fire captain in 2010 and battalion chief in 2017. Chief Mall became a member of the Orange County Fire Authority in August of 2019 when the Garden Grove Fire Department transitioned from a city department to OCFA. Since then, Chief Mall has been assigned to Battalion 8 and Battalion 6 and served also as the Air Operations Program Manager from 2020 to 2022. In October 2022, he was promoted to Division Chief and is currently assigned to Division 3, our division, which covers Rancho Santa Margarita, San Juan Capistrano, Dana Point, San Clemente, Mission Viejo, and the unincorporated areas of South Orange County. This is a busy guy. I can tell you from my firsthand experience, Shane is a very invested member of your community. He lives here in South Orange County with his beautiful wife Jennifer and their 3 sons, but he does travel to RSM often as his in-laws are longtime residents here. Each week, he or a member of his staff meets with us here at City Hall to discuss transit incidents. Thank you so much, Chief Mull, for keeping us safe and so well informed. Please join me in giving a warm RSM welcome to OCFA Division Chief Shane Mull.
Well, that was a lovely welcoming. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you to City Council and City staff, especially Laura Lopez, with the hard work that went into this night. This is a really special night, and thank you to all you. It's so good. Sorry, I'm supposed to hover near this thing. I like to walk around a little bit, so deal with me. But thank you so much to all of you that have taken the time out of your weeks to come out here and to learn and to hear about wildfire preparedness. As truly, this is a team effort, right? We all know that, as the mayor mentioned, fire season truly is a year-round thing now in California. So it's not when a fire or if a fire is going to come, it's when a fire is going to come. And you guys have all probably lived through many fires here in Orange County. And you know Rancho Santa Margarita is always under threat of wildfire. So it's really important that you're here with us tonight so you can learn and educate yourself, as this is a really neat opportunity to hear from a whole bunch of different people on how you can prepare yourselves and your homes and your families for when, unfortunately these fires do come. So once again, I'm Shane Mull. I'm the division chief down here, and like the mayor mentioned, I grew up down here in Orange County. My wife, her family still lives right here in Rancho Santa Margarita, so I spend a lot of time out here. So it's beautiful, so I'm really looking forward to being with you guys tonight. Just want to introduce a few people of my team that are here, so please interact with them. My captain over here, Jeremy Malone, he's my administrative captain. He and I work together every day and work with the city a lot. Jason Taylor on Battalion 7 is going to be here in a little bit. He's the battalion chief that serves right here in Santa Margarita. He and the crew from Truck 45 right here in Santa Margarita, they'll be here in a little bit as well to help with the fire extinguisher demo. In the back, we have Chris Berry. Chris Berry is our community relations education specialist, so he has a whole bunch of good information for you guys right there. And then Andrew Amante is he's our fire prevention specialist. There he is, right there. And truth be told, Andrew actually put together the PowerPoint, so if I don't do a good job, I don't think he'll ever let me use it again. So let's hope that goes well. But all right, we'll get right into this because there's a lot of information I want to share with you guys. There's a lot of people to share, so we'll just get right into it. So as we start, obviously the objective here is to reduce the destructive impacts of wildland fires here in Orange County. As you can see, this fire here, this was the Silverado fire back in 2020. This is Orchard Hills, and as you can see, it's kind of burning in there. It was a pretty intense firefight, but it kind of hit this fuel modification right outside the neighborhood right here, which we'll kind of go into some of that, and just pretty much halted right there before it got to those homes. So that's some of the stuff that you guys can do, that the city can do, that the community can do to protect themselves going into these this fire season. Let's see if this works. Technology. So first text is turn on. Now that it's on, we'll go ahead and start this presentation.
Point in here? I don't know.
Chief, where are you moving on the screen?
Sorry about this. We tested all this. Oh, there we go. All right, so now you can see that fire burning. It was coming in real fast, real hot. These were the 60-mile-an-hour winds blowing this fire. But it hit that fuel modification right there and just came to a screeching stop, which actually helped these fire crews, which were right here to save those homes. So really important that you guys do your part and we all do our part so we can be ready for these fires. Orange County, obviously, as you guys are well aware of, has a rich fire history over the last 100 years. But these are some of the major fires that we've had in the last few decades. Obviously, Laguna Fire, if you guys remember that, back in 1993, super destructive fire, burned up 14,000 acres, but 347 structures were lost. Then you go to 2007, the San Diego fire, 28,000 acres, 56 structures lost. Freeway Complex fire, 30,000 acres and 381 structures lost. And then you go to the Blue Ridge fire and the Silverado fire, which were pretty close to each other in 2020. Actually, pretty close to each other being the same day. So very close to each other. Between those, about 26,000 total acres. But fortunately on those, we only lost one structure on each of those fires. A lot of that, as you look over the course of time, has to do with our crews and our firefighting crews and the technology that we use. Since the Laguna fire and all the way through, we've introduced an air operations program using helicopters and aircraft to fight these fires. So obviously on the firefighting side, we've done a lot to prepare for these, but a lot of this also has to do with the steps that the residents have taken to harden their homes and prepare for these fires before they come. Especially on that Blue Ridge fire, a lot of those homes had really good defensible space and things like that out in North Linda and all that. So those were some destructive fires, obviously. Then you come to the bonfire. This one here is also too, just to remind us that fire season truly is year round. I remember these fires as I was on each of them, and they were cold. I remember being cold on the fire, which I was not used to, but it really is year round. The bonfire was in December, 6,600 acres and 31 structures lost in that. The Emerald fire was in February of 2022. That one was cold, started in the middle of the night, 154 acres, fortunately 0 structures lost. Burned right up to the back of the homes and came to a stop, and the crews were able to make a good stop on that. And then you guys are all very well aware of the coastal fire. Unfortunately on that day, the winds were incredibly strong coming off the ocean, and that fire only burned up 202 acres, but we lost 20 structures in that fire. So really devastating fire for everybody on that one. This is just an overall map of all the fire. Basically the red is all the burn scar of fires that have happened over the course of the last 100 years in Orange County. So as you can see, much of Orange County is very ripe for fires at all times. And you can see kind of everything out here is pretty red. So we definitely need to make sure that we're all ready for this. At the OCFA, we really work on this program. Sorry about that. We work off of a program called the Ready, Set, Go program. This is a program that there's a lot of information in the back of the room. I really recommend, I can give you some good tips from up here, but spend some time in the back of the room and get those pamphlets and the paperwork they have back there. But we work through the Ready, Set, Go program. And what that is essentially we want to make sure that you guys in your homes and everything around you is ready for the fires. Make sure that you're set, meaning that when the fire's coming, you know what to do, how to prepare, how to get out, how to follow like the apps, much like Pulse Point, Alert OC, things like that, to know, okay, now it's time to go. And then when it's time to go, how to get out. And so we'll kind of go through some of these things here as we move on. So, starting with your home. Who all here has homes here in St. Margarita? Very good. Is anybody here right up against the brush or pretty close? Yeah, most of the homes out here are pretty close. So it's really on you, and imperative on you, that you listen to this information, go through some of this stuff, listen up tonight, because there's a lot you can do to your home to prepare your home before these fires come. One of the big things is fuel modifications. Obviously, fuel modifications, as you can see, is essentially, well, we're going to actually go through it, so let's just go through it. Sorry. Next slide. We're going to go through fuel modification, defensible space, we'll talk about what the immediate zone is, and then some home hardening. Fuel modification. This here was the Silverado fire. Once again, really strong Santa Ana winds were blowing. This fire, as you can see in the picture here, up until that part, is pretty much scorched earth. That means that fire was burning hot, it was burning fast, and it just burned pretty much everything up. It was pretty incredible to watch this fire as it came into Orchard Hills here and just basically hit that fuel modification in that huge park right there, and just came to a screeching screeching halt, allowing the crews that were sitting in these homes to make sure that none of the embers got in there and caught them on fire, as well as allowed for the aircraft to come in and pretty much put that fire out around there. So fuel modification is obviously landscape design with moist landscaping and things like that are built to build a buffer between the homes and the thick vegetation that's out there. So as a fire comes, it's going to hit this fuel modification, and the whole intent is to slow it down and stop the force of that fire and give the crews time to get there, protect the homes, and hopefully the fire never gets into those homes. So fuel modifications are really important that you work with your HOAs. I know the city is very involved in making sure that fuel modifications are in place and doing well. So fuel modifications add a huge buffer between your homes and the vegetation. Defensible space is basically the distance between your homes and the vegetation. We recommend, about 100 feet between the back of your home and the vegetation. As you can see in this picture here, you can see that fire basically ran up that slope right there, and you can see behind those homes is really clear. Even the homes, behind their fences, they cleared all that brush and all the thick dead brush that was behind their homes well over 100 feet beyond their homes. So as the fire burned up, and hot and burning fast, it basically hit that and ran out of fuel to burn. Crews were able to get into the back of those homes and just keep an eye on the homes, really. It's a beautiful thing when we come into a home and we walk into the backyard to assess, okay, what's the fire gonna do? And we see a nice defensible space such as that. For us, we know, okay, this is gonna be a good one. We can sit on this house, make sure none of the embers catch any of their stuff on the patio on fire, any of the vents in the attics, things like that. And we know that that's a really good, savable home. So making sure that you have that good defensible space is hugely important as you guys assess your homes and start looking into that. So we're talking now about the immediate zone. The immediate zone is the 5 feet directly around your home. If you're anything like me, unfortunately, especially in the side yard, sometimes that 5 feet around your home kind of becomes the junk storage, right? As you're working on a project, everything kind of gets thrown to the side of the house. Sometimes there's boats right next to the house with covers on them, things like that. That 5 feet around your home is the area that you really need to keep clear, especially if you know that a fire's going to be coming, a fire season's coming. It's imperative that you get out there and clean those up and keep that around, because on these fires, it's not always just, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, the direct flames that are hitting your homes that light on the fire. It's the little embers that you guys probably see flying through the air, and they can land in just a pile of stuff, weeds or bushes that you pulled that are all dead and dying, and they're just kind of stored on the side of the house. And unfortunately, they light those on fire, and I've seen a lot of houses lost because of just stuff that's piled up next to people's house. So it's really important that you keep your 5 feet around your house clear. As you can see in this video here, this is a pretty cool video. As you can see, it's really important too what you put around your home, everything that's kind of touching your home. This video here was shot at our headquarters. You can see the two different structures there. The one on the left is just kind of an older wood siding. You obviously have a wood fence. You have the wood bark that everybody likes to put in their planters coming right up to the house. Well, the one on the right is more of a hardened home. You got the siding, I think it's just the fiberboard siding, not non-combustible siding, and you can see the plants, just nice little landscaping, hardscape all the way around the edge of that home. And we lit a fire in both of those planters at the same time, and you can't even really see that there's a fire on the right. You see a little waft of smoke, and that's pretty much it. It burns itself out. Whereas on the left, this one completely burned up. This video doesn't show it, but if you would watch this even further, there's a point where the whole entire structure on the left is on fire, and the flames are even coming over and almost hitting this home on the right, and that house never lit off because it was so hardened and ready for fire. So these are some of the things that you guys can do to make sure your homes are ready. All right, so home hardening. Obviously, the objective of home hardening, it's a word, there's information on the back that you guys can get to figure out how to harden your home. But it's really to give your home the best chance possible if a fire does come, when a fire does come. This is called the Miracle Home. This was a Laguna fire. As you can see, this fire burned right up this drainage to this home. This is on Tahiti Avenue in Laguna Beach, and it just scorched all of these homes in that neighborhood, except for the Miracle Home here. And the reason this Miracle Home, it's kind of a miracle, honestly, with how much everything burned around it still. But you can tell this home's well hardened. It's got stucco siding. It's got a tile roof. I don't see any attic vents or any little holes that fires could really get into. All the windows and everything were closed. You have really good defensible space behind. You can see that there are some little shrubs and bushes, but they did a good job of clearing that space. You can see on the other homes around it, you can tell it's burned out brush all the way up to the home. So this is just a really, really good example of if you harden your home, regardless of what's happening around you, your home can withstand a fire when it comes through. So there's three real ways that our homes will catch fire during a vegetation fire. Obviously, there's direct flame contact. This happens, in a lot of different cases. For sure, if you don't clear the brush, or if the stuff within your immediate zone, that 5 feet around your house, catches fire, then obviously your home's going to take direct flame impact. And a lot of times, as much as your home can be hardened, it's hard to resist that. The coastal fire, for instance, they had decent clearance in their backyard. Most of them actually had some pretty good clearance and some defensible space. But the wind was so strong that as fire crews were pulling on that street, there was fire blowing directly into these homes. And so, obviously, direct flame contact is going to be one way that your home can catch fire. Radiant heat, obviously, as the fires burn. If you've ever been near, you've been around fires a lot, but if you go to these brush fires, or you've ever been on a structure fire, they put off a lot of heat. And so that radiant heat can either light, wood siding on your house. If you have a wood shake shingle roof, can light that off. Anything that's dead plants around your house, or dead plants inside your gutters, happens a lot, right? Those things can heat up and then combust, and that can start the fire as well. As well as like heavy drapery inside your windows and real combustible. Unfortunately, a lot of furniture these days is pretty combustible, and if there's enough heat penetrating on that long enough, it can combust. So the radiant heat's another big issue, which is why keeping really good clearance around your house is key, because the further everything is away, the less heat you're going to take. And the big one is the ember intrusion. Ember intrusion truly is the leading cause of the structure loss on fires, because if you've ever been, you guys have probably all seen them on the news, but the crews here who have been out fighting these fires, the sheriff's department drives through these things, it's just a glowing embers are just blowing across. I remember the story from the helicopter crews on the coastal fire. The helicopter crews said at night when they were flying with their NVG goggles, there was obviously the fire coming up the hill to the homes, but it was just a wave of orange going over those homes, way down into Laguna Niguel, well beyond where anything burned. But those were all embers that were flying down, hitting people's homes. And those are really the things that you gotta watch out for and prepare your home for, so that you can be ready to protect yourself from all those embers. So I'm going to show you just a real quick video on here at the OCFA, and you can go online and request this and set up an appointment. We do a free home assessment where one of our fire marshals will actually come out to your home. It's a free thing, and they'll walk your whole home with you, and they'll go through a bunch of information. And at the end of it, you'll get a full assessment of your home with kind of a checklist, a to-do list of things you can do to protect your home. So I'm just going to show you that video because it speaks to it better than I can.
Experts can't predict when the next wildfire will occur. They don't know how many acres it will burn or how long it will last. What they do know is that wildfires are a year-round reality in Southern California, and far too many residents have not taken even the most basic steps to protect their families, homes, neighborhoods, and communities from Orange County's #1 fire risk. Most homes damaged or destroyed during a wildfire are ignited by embers, not direct flame contact, unless your vegetation is overgrown. Wind-blown embers can travel as much as 5 miles ahead of the active front of a wildfire. Will your home survive if burning embers rain down on vulnerable areas on and around your home? Will the vegetation around it increase its vulnerability? With so much writing on what you do between now and the next hot, dry, windy day that results in a wildfire, why leave anything to chance? Help us help you by scheduling a home assessment. A home assessment is a consultation with an Orange County Fire Authority representative who will provide you the information and insight you need to make the decision on whether you protect your home from wildfire's catastrophic effects. Most assessments take 45 minutes. The OCFA representative will leave you with handouts that support what was talked about during the walkthrough. There is no enforcement by OCFA during the assessment, and there is no cost for the assessment. Even if you're ready and willing to take action, there are guidelines and recommendations based on years of research that most homeowners know little about. During your assessment, fire personnel will examine the outside of your home and surrounding property and will explain specific steps you can take to reduce your wildfire risk. Information covered includes the following: Building construction features including siding, roofs, spark arresters, rain gutters, eaves, windows, attic vents, patio covers, balconies, combustible decks, fences, gazebos, and trellises. The correct building construction features listed above reduce the probability that your home will start on fire from an ember. Landscape features include plants within 5 feet of home, types of trees, types of shrubs, and the layout between the landscape. The correct landscape features listed above reduce the probability that your home will start on fire from direct flame or radiant heat. Homes survive wildfires because of home hardening and vegetation management, not fate or luck. No matter where you live or how much money you can afford to spend, there are things you can do right now to make your home less vulnerable. Don't wait. Schedule an assessment and start increasing your home's survivability today.
So, as the video showed, it's a really, really neat thing. So for those of you who have your smartphones with you, if you want, you can scan that QR code there, and you can go right on and schedule your home assessment right now while you sit here. Otherwise, you can go to www.ocfa.org/RSG/home assessment. But I would just at least take a picture of this, because at www.ocfa.org/RSG, that's where all the information, I'm sharing a lot of information with you guys in a short period of time today, but you can go on there and it is just, there's a list of resources that you can pull up. And if you don't want a home assessment, you can kind of do your own home assessment, but it's really good stuff. So I would highly recommend that as we come into this fire season and schedule yours today. I wanted to, before I go into the get set, just go over, I'm just going to give you guys a couple little nuggets of the home hardening. Just some food for thought for you guys, for things that you can just check out real quick when you get home tonight and over these next couple weeks, because obviously we're in August right now. Fire season in California has been busy this year. We've had crews up in the northern part of the state for the last couple months, most of them just trading out on the line, just timing out while they're out there and not coming back home. So it's been very, very busy. Fortunately down here in Orange County, we've actually had a decent amount of fires, but all of them have been very small. Everything's pretty moist. But we're coming into the September, October, November. Everything's going to dry out. And as soon as we get those Santa Ana winds, everything's pretty overgrown. So we're going to get these fires. So just you got a little bit of time right now, but I'd really recommend doing the home assessment. And then these couple little things for your roof. Just make sure, if you can, make sure some of this stuff costs money. I didn't realize that, but I can't tell you how important it is when these fires come. Make sure you have ember-resistant material. You don't have the wood shake shingle roofs. Make sure you're not missing a bunch of roofing tiles. A lot of embers can get into any missing tiles and get into the attic and catch it on fire. For your eaves, make sure your eaves are well maintained and fill all the gaps with any caulking. Close off your eaves if you can. The open eaves that just have direct access into the attic. It's nice for ventilation, but it's also really nice for embers and things like that to get into. Any vents that you have in your home, whether it be an attic vent, any kind of holes that you have going into your attics. A lot of times when we see homes on fire in these, it's the attic that really starts going first, because those embers just get in there. Most of them, if they have grates on them, they're probably quarter-inch grates, little things over them. Change those out for the 1/8 inch. Quarter-inch will still be big enough to let embers in. They're showing now that the 1/8 inch grates, which you can just get from Home Depot and install, those will stop the majority of the embers and hopefully give you a better chance. Gutters, obviously, make sure you can install those gutter guards so you don't get a bunch of fallen tree leaves and things like that drying out in there, because those do catch fire. Exterior siding, try to avoid the wood siding if possible. Use the cement board or any other kind of siding, stucco, things like that are fire resistant. Fences, if you have wood fences, just make sure they have really good paint on them or a good stain on them to try and protect them from the radiant heat. As they get older and worn down, they catch fire a lot easy. Or use non-combustible materials for your fences. Patio covers, balconies, and decks, make sure you maintain them, keep them painted. Use the non-combustible materials if you're going to build one. I'd highly recommend that. And just make sure you keep that immediate zone around your house, that 5 feet from your house, nice and clear at all times. So now that your homes are ready, and you guys get to take your homework home with you tonight and look at it, we want to make sure that you're set. You want to prepare yourselves and your families for not if the fires come, but truly when the fires come. So smoke's in the air, you're hearing about it on social media, pulse points going off, alert OCs letting you know, hey, there's a fire out in the canyons near Rancho Margarita, you may have to evacuate, or maybe evacuation's already in order. Make sure that you're set for this. Ahead of time, you want to make sure you know your escape routes from your neighborhoods, and you have identified a predetermined location that you're going to go, whether it be family's house or whatever, and communicate that with your whole family. So if you're all trying to get out of there quick, you can get there. Make sure you have all your emergency supplies ready. If you have pets, things like that. One really big thing is your medications. If you know that you need your medications, know where you can grab those quickly and put them into a bag. Or you hear there's a fire, make sure you get those things bagged up. A lot of people that live in real fire-prone areas, especially kind of down in the canyons a little bit, they have go bags ready at all times because those fires hit and they hit quick. And there's really not time to grab things, so kind of have something ready to go. If you have time, if the smoke's out in the hills and you know you might be evacuated or you're just concerned, there's some things you can do outside your home. Move flammable items away from your home. Take a quick lap and move everything away from the structure that you can. Turn off your water. That allows more water for the fire department. A lot of times people will turn their sprinklers on thinking that they're going to save their homes, but unfortunately that steals the water that we need to fight the fires, and the sprinklers really don't do a lot. There are some things out there in the world for people that live way out in the interface who have like sprinklers on their homes that are directly for fire, but not so much needed really here. Connect your garden hoses to the taps, but don't turn them on, but that's helpful when we have firefighters running up and down and fire engines bumping from house to house to house. Sometimes a garden hose is a great thing for us to put out a quick little fire without having to stop a fire engine, pull hose, and do our whole thing. And then patrol property and extinguish small fires. Personally, if little things are starting to catch fire around your house, I would say it's time to go. Leave that for everybody else. Indoor, make sure you shut all your doors and windows. Move your furniture away from the windows and door. Like I mentioned, all our furniture is really combustible, and if it takes a lot of heat for a long period of time, it'll catch fire. And shut off your air conditioning. And the other piece is just an experience from the coastal fire. When you leave, make sure you close your garage door. We had a house that was on the coastal fire a few blocks down from all the other homes that were impacted right along the edge of the fire, where they left the garage open thinking that the firefighters could access their house better with the garage open. An ember got into their garage, and we all know what's in their garages, caught the garage and lost that whole house. So it was kind of shocking to see, but it's just a little tidbit for you too. But obviously if time permits, you want to make sure you get set and then go. This is a big one. Leave before you are told. There's so many people, and I get it, who want to stay and try and save their homes, and they're trying to scramble out at the last minute. As any firefighter in here can tell you, or anybody from the sheriffs, or anyone who's trying to get driven through smoke where you really can't see in front of your car, it's not a good feeling. It's very nerve-wracking, easy to get lost, and it's honestly pretty scary if you don't know what you're driving through, obviously. And then secondly, it blocks all the fire department and police department, the sheriffs who are coming in to do good work, causes traffic jams, and we can't get in to protect your home. So please go early. Take all your valuables and your emergency kits with you. Make sure you follow the plan that you have in place. Don't get stuck in the fire and smoke. These fires will hit the neighborhoods, and the smoke is dark, very, very dark. You do not want to be running out of your home at that time. Don't endanger yourself or the responders. Dress appropriately. Make sure you have enough clothes so that you can get out and have some clothes for the next few days, and just don't wait. And please don't put yourself or your family at risk. And with that, that is the presentation on the Ready, Set, Go program. Like I mentioned, there's so much more information than I shared with you in the back. So I highly recommend taking those flyers, and we'll all be available for questions and everything afterwards. So I really appreciate your time, appreciate you all being here. And with that, I'm going to welcome up, so she can just totally show me up with a great presentation, Captain Kennedy from Orange County Sheriff's Department.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Captain Kennedy. I'm the Chief of Rancho Center Radar Police Services. Excuse me. With me here today, we have our admin sergeant, Patty Alde, and we also have our wonderful crime prevention specialist, Emma Peters, in the back. First off, on behalf of our team, I would like to take a minute to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to serve you. It's our greatest honor and privilege to serve this wonderful community. Today's topics. Excuse us for a few minutes until we figure this out. So the topics that we're going to cover today are going to be what is our role when it comes to preparation for potential disasters and fires, and what kind of pre-planning for evacuations we're involved in. We're going to talk a little bit about resources and personnel support. What are our roles and responsibilities and law enforcement priorities? We're going to talk about evacuation methods, communication, and traffic control, to be specific. And I'm going to switch gears for a few minutes and talk about public safety updates and our new OCSD Real-Time Operations Center, as well as our RSM Citizens Academy that we are happy to announce that we are ready to roll out. Slide 3, please. So, next, please. When it comes to preparation for potential disasters, emergency preparation is a strategic initiative not only for the Sheriff's Department, but also for our city of Rancho. And we've been involved in a lot of preparation when it comes to critical incidents and how we respond to wildfires. And what that pre-planning consists of is truly just identifying high-risk areas prone to wildfire, as well as having clear evacuation routes and considering traffic flow and road conditions in case of a disaster, such as a fire, resource allocation, making sure that we have the necessary equipment and we have communication devices as well as personal protective equipment. And we also we conduct regular training sessions for all our officers and with the fire department as well, multi-agency drills. We practice simulations. We in fact did one in 2024. We did one in 2023. And we are heavily involved with community outreach and engagement. And we've partnered with the Tribune Water District on a couple of occasions this year. We educate the community about evacuation plans. We encourage our residents to prepare personally and have some type of emergency kit ready to go in case of a disaster. Next. Additional resources and stakeholders that we work with are the Red Cross, PV Maintenance, American Red Cross, Mission Vehicle Animal Control, OCTA, and the school districts. Next, please. Next slide, please. When it comes to resources, you may be aware that the city of Rancho contracts for police services with the OCSD. We have 30 staff members at various ranks assigned to the city of Rancho. But we also have the entire department available to us in case of an emergency. We have around 1,400 sworn deputies working both in the jails and operations, and about 500 assigned just to operations. We Also have the sheriff's response team available to us, which is a tactical concept that was adopted by the sheriff's department in 2012 and consists of a group of trained individuals that can be mobilized at any time, and that is 3 platoons to be exact. Next. Thank you. Now, when it comes to the roles and responsibilities of law enforcement in a disaster such as a fire, we do play a secondary role. However, it's a vital role. We provide support for evacuations, traffic control, and we, law enforcement, are 100% responsible for that. We immediately unify command with the fire department to ensure that we all make efficient, consistent, and timely decisions. During a major event, numerous agencies come together. As I mentioned, we unify command to mitigate the impact, and we work in coordination with the OCSD Emergency Management, with the Operations Center, with City EOC, and city staff as well. We have robust communication channels, not only with the fire department, but emergency services and relevant agencies. We use mass notification systems to inform the public, and heavily involved in traffic management, as well as we assist our citizens that may be vulnerable, that cannot, that need transportation or are unable to safely evacuate. And we also provide for the safety and security of evacuated areas to prevent looting and vandalism. Next, please. With respect to our mission and our objectives, we share the same mission and objectives to preserve life and property as the fire department, with slightly different priorities that I just mentioned. We support the fire department. And next, please. How will you receive emergency alerts? Through a variety of different communication methods. We are going to use a layered approach, and that's dependent on the incident. And we could use anywhere from alert OC to work phone, email, text messages, air support unit, including door-to-door, anything that it's available, and it's definitely incident dependent. Next, please. Social media platforms and phone apps, we advise our citizens, if possible, to follow all our social media platforms. Getting information from the sources is so important to make sure that you get accurate information. And next, please. Reflected here on this slide, we have our alert OC numbers. And for a city with 50,000 in population, our alert OC numbers are quite low. We encourage our citizens to take a few minutes and register with Alert OC to make sure that you get those emergency messages when you need them. Evacuation plans, we have them in place, but they must be adaptable, and those evacuation plans are definitely incident dependent. We cannot force our citizens to evacuate, but please be mindful and keep in mind that it's financially and physically impossible to be able to provide an engine or immediate escort or police escort for people that refuse to evacuate. So we have historically a very good relationship with our citizens. Everyone is extremely cooperative. It's not something that we're necessarily worried about, but please be mindful of that when that mandatory warning comes around, and be ready to go. Also, on the slide, it reflects this Penal Code 409.5, which allows the media into various natural disasters, including riots, with the exception of a crime scene. Next, please. So we are responsible for alerts and warning, but all alerting systems actually have failure points. So that's the reason why we use a layered approach. And the reality is that you are your own best advocate. And please take the time to prepare yourself and your loved ones. And if you feel unsafe, as Shane mentioned earlier, you don't have to wait for a warning. Take off. Take off before we even actually give that warning. Next, please. Some of you may be aware, we have evacuation zones that are posted on the city website as well. And those are our evacuation zones. And I'm here to convey to you that we do have the training necessary and we have the resources as mentioned earlier. We are collaborating with the OCFA. We are constantly training with them. We have a plan. We understand and discuss potential challenges. And we are ready to exercise the plan if necessary. Given the history and support of our city, the last thing that I want to leave you with is that when we ask our citizens to evacuate, please evacuate. Next, please. I'm going to take a minute to switch to public safety. And this slide reflects crime in California overall. And it shows that violent crime rate is 31% higher than the US rate as of 2022. And this is where we are today in the city of Rancho. 2023, we again ranked safest city, and I'm proud to report that. And I want to say that this ranking is in fact a community accomplishment. Without your support, we would not be able to achieve this type of level of service. However, I know this is a numbers-driven job. The true measure of our success in our community are relationships and the partnerships that we have with our citizens. Next, please. And the next point that I want to take to discuss is our real-time operations center, which is a center that was opened by the Sheriff's Department in mid-June. And it utilizes technology and law enforcement databases to provide information to our staff in real time for the purpose of supporting patrol, dispatch, and investigations. Next, please. And how that works is basically leveraging technology with community partnerships for the purpose of being more proactive. And we include crime analysts to process information and provide it to our deputies, as mentioned earlier, in real time. The platform that the Operations Center is using to offer two options is Fuses. This is used across the country by 123 different agencies. So out of 18,000 agencies across the country, 123 have real-time operations centers. I'm happy to report that the Sheriff's Department is cutting edge. And I'm gonna take a minute to explain how it's gonna work. So as a private and public stakeholders, we have two options. Option one is to register your cameras with the Sheriff's Department. So what that means is instead of a deputy coming in person to obtain surveillance from businesses and homeowners, we can actually request that information by email. which is incredibly helpful for our staff. And option 2, with this platform, Fuses, that is actually at cost. It costs we have various packages available. You can integrate your cameras with the sheriff's department, and in case of an emergency, we can integrate those cameras and provide you immediate resources and attention in real time. If you have, let's say, a 911 emergency, a heart attack, a baby not breathing cold, you can be with dispatch on FaceTime, and we can assist you through CPR and so on. And Fuses is now considered to be the 21st century neighborhood watch and business watch platform. And the last thing that I wanted to mention to you all is that we haven't had a Citizens Academy in the city of Rancho in several years, and now we are starting one October 8th through December 5th. It's an 8-week program that offers unique opportunity to provide insight about how we operate, a variety of different divisions within our sheriff's department. It's a once per week meeting between 6 and 9, with the exception of the Thanksgiving holiday. And we have an incredible curriculum that is going to be very fun. We get to introduce you to our RSM Police Services team, investigation, SWAT, Air Support Bureau, Harbor Patrol, the Corner Division. You get to see the Real-Time Operations Center, and we have applications for you if you're interested. And with that, this concludes my presentation, and we'll take questions if you have any. We have applications with our crime prevention specialists. Thank you. And